It's happened, everyone. With the AWE trailer for Control out, it is time for a new round of theory crafting before the release on August 27th. While this video will be less formal than the full lectures on this channel, I wanted to break down some things that jumped out to us in the trailer. For me, the most fleshed out new bit of lore can be found here behind Jesse. The sign directs us to the Fra Mauro AWE. This is the first time this altered world event has been mentioned. Luckily, the trailer gives us all the clues we need to get a rough idea of what this AWE was about. Before getting into it, let's discuss Fra Mauro himself. He was an Italian monk and cartographer born in 1400 AD and was heralded with producing the most accurate map of the world at that time. While being a loose link, cartography plays a role in the AWE DLC. In Alan Wake Illuminated, the behind-the-scenes book for the game, we receive a map of Bright Falls that shows the topography of the town. On the main Control website, there is a logo for the DLC. Looking in the background, we see a topographical map that is mirrored in the center between the left and right side. This plays into Remedy and their love for mirrors throughout their stories. However, the interesting part is that if turned to the side, this topography lines up with Bright Falls and is centered on Cauldron Lake. For those unaware, this is the entrance to the Dark Place threshold and the focus of the Bright Falls AWE. One thing to note is that there are some minor changes between the logo and the real map. There are 2 additional lakes as well as an island that is shaped slightly differently. We have heard about this phenomenon before. This would be Altered Item 72, the Wolf Globe. To quote the description, while the continents and oceans are recognizably those of Earth, careful examination has revealed numerous redacted and other geographic additions that do not exist on our planet. One of these islands has a city marked on it named Tanrelio. There are no signatures left by its maker. What exactly Tanrelio is unknown. This description reminds me of how the AWE logo lines up with the Bright Falls map, but has minor alterations in it. If Fra Mauro existed in the Control universe as well, I wonder if he was the one who made the Wolf Globe and caused it to become an altered item. Since the altered effect is to become unfamiliar with one's surroundings, it's possible he knew more about the landscape of the globe than we do. Either the world changed since he made the map, or we don't perceive the world in its entirety. However, AWEs have been shown to be named after a geographic location, not after a person. So what physical location in real life is named after Fra Mauro? For anyone who grew up during the 60s and experienced the rise of the space program, this might sound familiar. The Fra Mauro crater was the landing site for the Apollo 13 and Apollo 14 lunar missions. En route to the moon, the Apollo 13 experienced technical issues which blew out the oxygen systems and damaged the electrical. As a result, they were forced to convert the lunar module into a lifeboat for air supply and used its fuel for controlled burns to change their trajectory. This was because they feared that using the main engine for a burn would cause a fatal explosion. As the onboard computer could not perform these calculations, it would have to be done another way. Astronaut Jim Lovell performed trajectory and re-entry calculations by hand with only the position of the sun, moon, and line of night versus day on the Earth for assistance. After their safe return to Earth, this event would be heralded as one of the greatest improvised feats of engineering in human history. The Apollo 13 launch was so iconic due to the situation that it is possible that this specific lunar module would become a receptacle for unconscious energies. In the investigation sector, we find an Apollo lunar module on a platform. Is it possible that as a result of this event, Apollo 13 literally became an altered item? Or was it not a simple electrical short? Did something else cause the event? 10 months later, Apollo 14 launched to the Fra Mauro crater to fulfill the mission. Did the FBC include itself on the second mission to discover what potential altered item existed on the moon? A moon rock may be a good candidate for this. One interesting side note is that astronaut Stuart Roosa took a few hundred seeds on the Apollo 14 trip. After being germinated in space, these were later transplanted to Earth into what we now call moon trees. Dozens of these trees are still standing to this day. I would be curious if the investigation sector has a file on these trees for any potential altered effect caused by going to the Fra Mauro crater. In any case, The Fra Mauro AWE is the only altered world event that we know of that did not occur on Earth. It appears the scope of the Bureau's grasp just got a lot bigger than we thought. Due to the timeline, this AWE would have occurred under Director Northmore. I wonder what other historical events the FBC has previously been involved in.